Hello friends, welcome to Sand and Sea Storytime. I'm so glad you could join me today. Let's sing our hello song. Are you ready? Here we go. Hello friends, hello friends, hello friends. It's time to say hello. Hello friends, hello friends, hello friends. It's time to say hello. So glad you could come today. Our theme today is so crabby. That doesn't mean that we're all in a bad mood. It just means we're going to read some stories about crabs. Our first story is about a crab who doesn't like his big, clumsy claws. Let's find out why. It's called Clumsy Crab, and it's by Ruth Galloway. It comes from Tiger Tales. There's where he lives. Wow, look at that. Clumsy Crab. Nipper the crab didn't like his huge, clumsy claws at all. Snip, snap, clip, clap, no matter what he did, they always got in the way. None of his friends had clumsy claws. He wished he had tickly arms like octopus, or tentacles like sea jelly, or even flippity fins like turtle and the fish. One day, Nipper was playing catch the bubble with his friends. Pop! His clumsy claws burst the bubble. They couldn't play that game anymore, so they played tag instead. Nipper scuttled sideways, but one of his clumsy claws got in the way. Whoa! Nipper slipped and stumbled, tripped and tumbled until he was buried up to his eyes in sand. Turtle came to dig him out. Everyone decided to play hide and seek. Nipper climbed into a big clam shell and pulled it shut. Smash! Nipper's clumsy claws shattered the shell into hundreds of tiny pieces. Ouch, he cried, help! Sea jelly picked up the pieces of shell. If I didn't have these clumsy claws, I wouldn't break anything, and I'd be good at hide and seek, said Nipper. Don't worry, Nipper, said the others. We'll hide and you can find us. Nipper counted to 10, then set off to find his friends. He scuttled through the sand and found Sea Turtle. He shuffled under the shells and found Sea Jelly. And he searched up and down and in and out all around the rocks, but he couldn't find Octopus anywhere. Suddenly, everyone heard a cry. Octopus was tangled up tightly in some seaweed. Octopus squirmed and wiggled and wriggled and jiggled. Turtle and Sea Jelly tried to help, but the knots just got tighter and tighter. Nipper had an idea. Nipper snipped at the seaweed with his claws. Faster and faster, Nipper danced around the clump of seaweed, snipping and snapping and clipping and clapping. His claws moved quickly, slashing and slicing, shredding and dicing until the sea was filled with tiny pieces of swirling seaweed. Octopus was finally free. Thank you, Nipper, you're a clever crab, he cheered. Nipper waved his claws happily. At last, he knew how useful they could be. And there he is, back with all his friends again. So he found out that his big claws weren't so bad after all, didn't he? Well, let's see. We're going to try a rhyme today. And since you're not here to help me, I'll hold all the pieces. But here's a rhyme about another set of little friends in the sea, okay? It's called 5 Little Ocean Friends. 5 little ocean friends on the ocean floor. The starfish walks away, and then there are 4. 4 little ocean friends living in the sea. The crab slides away, and now there are 3. 3 little ocean friends looking for a clue. Glub, glub, said the lobster, and now there are 2. 2 little ocean friends. Not having much fun. Off swam the seahorse, and then there was 1. 1 little octopus, sad and all alone. Back swims the lobster. Back swims the crab. Back swims the seahorse. And back swims the starfish. And they played in the sea foam, safe in their home. Did you like that one? That was a fun one. Well, we've got one more story today, and we're going to read A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. It comes from Simon & Schuster Books. Do you know what hermit crabs are? They live on the ocean floor, and their skin is hard, except for their tummies. Their tummy is soft. So to protect the soft spot, the hermit crab borrows shells that they find that other animals have left and makes the shell his home. But then they keep growing and they have to move from their homes sometimes. So here is A House for Hermit Crab. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean, but it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It's so plain. It needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish, moving slowly along the sea floor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled the little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. How tidy and hard-working you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house? I would, offered one of the little snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth petals. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They've been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They're like a family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I've outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I've outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You're welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. That was a good story, wasn't it? Well, today, if you have your take and make bag at home, you've got a craft in there to make to go with today's story time. And if you don't, you can stop at the library and get yours. So our craft today is a crab hat. Now the crabs in our stories were red. Do you know why this one is blue? It's blue because here on the northern neck, blue crabs are kind of a thing. So, as well as a number of other places around the country. So we made ours blue in honor of the blue crabs, who aren't really blue all over like this, but they're really pretty if you ever get to see one. So you can make your crab hat, and yours will look different than mine, I'm sure, but you'll have fun making it. So it's time to say goodbye, and we'll see you the next time at Storytime. So sing a verse with me. Goodbye, friends, goodbye, friends, goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye.